Welcome back, everyone, to the English Vision Podcast. I am your host, John, and as always, I am joined by my fantastic co-host, Sarah. How is your week going, Sarah?
Hi, John, and hello to all our listeners around the world. My week is going well, but I have to admit I'm a little bit tired today. I stayed up very late last night watching short videos on my phone.
Ah, the classic late-night video scrolling. I think everyone listening can understand that feeling. You start with just one short video, and suddenly you look at the clock, and it is 2 in the morning.
Exactly. I kept telling myself just one more video, then I will sleep. I really wanted to go to sleep because I had to wake up early, but my fingers just kept swiping. I could not stop myself. I think I have a big problem with, how do you say it naturally, managing my brain.
Managing your brain is a fun way to describe it, but in English, we usually call that self-control. And you know what? That is actually a perfect topic for our episode today. We are going to talk about how to discuss self-control habits and those moments when we just cannot stop doing something we know we should stop.
I'm very glad we are talking about this. I know the word self-control from my textbooks, but I do not always know how to talk about it with my friends without sounding too formal. What are some words native speakers use to describe this feeling?
Well, a very common word we use in daily conversation is willpower. Willpower is the mental strength you need to resist doing something you want to do, or to force yourself to do something difficult. Think of it like a battery in your mind. When your willpower battery is full, it is very easy to say no to things.
Oh, willpower. So the word will means what you want to do or your intention, and power is strength. It is the strength of your mind.
That is a brilliant way to break it down, Sarah. Yes. So for example, if I'm at a party and I see a giant chocolate cake, but I'm trying to eat healthy, I might say to my friend, I need a lot of willpower to not eat that cake right now.
I understand, but what happens if your battery is empty and you eat the cake? How do you explain that you lost your willpower?
If you eat the cake, we often use the phrasal verb give in. To give in means you stopped fighting the desire, you surrendered, and you just let it happen.
I gave in. So last night, I gave in to the videos on my phone.
Exactly right. You tried to go to sleep, but eventually you gave in to the temptation. Temptation is the word we use for the thing you want to do, even though you know you probably should not do it.
Temptation. That is a beautiful word for a difficult thing. My phone is a big temptation for me. Sweets are also a big temptation. So I can tell my friends I gave in to temptation.
You got it perfectly. Now let us talk about a different feeling. Sometimes you're sitting at your desk, trying to study English or work, and you suddenly feel a strong desire to check your messages. We call that an urge. An urge is a sudden strong feeling that you want to do something immediately.
An urge. Is it the same as a temptation?
They are very similar, but usually a temptation is the object or the situation, like the cake or the phone. The urge is the feeling inside your body. You feel the urge to eat the cake. You feel the urge to check the phone.
That makes perfect sense. I feel the urge to check my phone when I'm doing something boring. It is very hard to fight the urge.
It really is, and if you do not fight the urge, it leads to something we call procrastination. Procrastination is a big word, but it is very common. It means delaying or waiting to do a task you need to do, usually by doing something less important instead.
Procrastination, let me try to say that. Procrastination. So when I need to study, but I clean my room instead. That is procrastination.
Yes, absolutely. You're avoiding the hard work by doing easy work. You are procrastinating. Now, what if you want to tell someone that you're trying to be better at your habits? Let us say you want to look at your phone less. How would you say that?
I would probably say, I'm trying to use my phone less, or I'm trying to reduce my screen time. Is there a more natural phrase?
Your sentences are perfectly fine and very clear, but native speakers love to use phrasal verbs here. We often say cut down on. To cut down on something means to reduce the amount of it.
Cut down on. So I can say, I'm trying to cut down on my phone screen time, or I'm trying to cut down on sugar.
Spot on. It sounds incredibly natural. Notice that when you use cut down on, You're not stopping the habit completely. You're just doing it less.
What if I want to stop completely? Let us say my friend wants to quit drinking coffee forever. Can she use cut down on?
Good question. If she is stopping completely, she would use the phrase give up. For example, she would say, I gave up coffee last month. Give up means to stop a habit entirely.
I see, give up means zero coffee. Cut down on means maybe 1 cup a day instead of 3 cups.
Exactly, and there's actually a very funny idiom we use when someone gives up a bad habit immediately and completely. We say they quit cold turkey.
Cold turkey, like the bird we eat for dinner, that is so strange. Why do you say cold turkey?
It is a very strange idiom. The origin is a bit mysterious, but it means you stop a habit suddenly without slowly cutting down first. So if your friend throws away all her coffee today and never drinks it again, she quit coffee cold turkey.
English is so interesting. Quit cold turkey, I will definitely remember that one because it is so funny. Okay, let us talk about good situations. Sometimes I'm doing really well. I study English every day. I sleep early. My willpower is strong. How do I describe that good feeling?
When everything is going according to your plan, a very common phrase is staying on track. Imagine a train on a track going straight toward its destination. If you're staying on track, it means you're following your plan and making good progress without getting distracted.
Staying on track. I love the train image. It makes it very easy to visualize. So if I study English every evening for a whole week, I can tell you, John, I'm really staying on track with my English studies.
That is perfect. You sound like a native speaker. But we are humans, and sometimes we make mistakes. If you have a bad day and you forget to study, or you eat the whole chocolate cake, you might say you fell off the wagon.
Fell off the wagon. A wagon is an old wooden cart pulled by horses, right?
Yes, exactly. This is another popular idiom. Falling off the wagon means you stopped doing your good habit. You lost your self-control and went back to your old ways.
So if I promise to eat healthy food all week, but on Wednesday I buy a massive pizza and eat it all, I fell off the wagon. But wait, what do I do the next day? Do I climb back on the wagon?
You actually do. We say get back on track or get back on the wagon. It means you recognize that you made a mistake, but you're not going to give up. You're going to start your good habit again immediately.
I really like that phrase. It feels very encouraging. It means giving in to temptation is not a failure forever. You can always get back on the wagon.
That is a very wise way to look at it. Sarah, having good self-control is not about being perfectly disciplined 100% of the time. It is about how quickly you can get back on track after you have a moment of weakness.
I have another question, John. This is about talking to other people. Sometimes my friends invite me out to dinner or a party, but I really need to stay home and study. It is hard to say no because I do not want to be rude or boring. How can I use these words to say no politely?
That is a fantastic practical question. It is a very common social situation. If you just look at your friend and say, "No, I cannot go. I have self-control," it sounds a bit strange, almost like a robot.
Yes, I definitely do not want to sound like a robot.
Instead, you can talk about your goals to soften the rejection. You could use the phrase we just learned and say, "I would really love to go, but I'm trying to stay on track with my studies right now."
Oh, that is very polite. I'm trying to stay on track. It shows my friend that I want to spend time with them, but I have a mission I must finish.
Exactly. It makes them respect your decision. Another good phrase is to say you need to be disciplined. Being disciplined means you obey the rules you set for yourself, even when you do not feel like it. So you can say, "I have to be disciplined tonight and finish my work. Have fun for me."
Disciplined, that is a very strong and mature word. I also want to ask about shopping. Sometimes I go to the store to buy milk and I see a beautiful pair of shoes. I want to buy them, but I know I should not spend the money. Is there a phrase for stopping myself in that exact moment?
Yes, in that situation, you would use the phrasal verb hold back. To hold back means to stop yourself from doing something right when you're about to do it. You could say, "I wanted to buy the shoes, but I had to hold back."
Hold back, okay? I have to hold back from buying more shoes. I have too many in my closet already.
We all have that one thing we need to hold back from buying. For me, it is books. I always feel the urge to buy new books, even though I have a pile of unread books sitting on my table. I am terrible at holding back in a bookstore.
Well, reading books is an educational habit, John. Maybe falling off the wagon in a bookstore is not the worst thing in the world.
You make a very fair point, Sarah. My brain gets educated, even if my wallet disagrees. Let us quickly review some of the vocabulary we talked about today so our listeners can really remember it and use it in their conversations this week.
Yes, let us do a summary. First, we talked about willpower, which is like the mental battery we use to resist things.
Perfect. And the thing we are trying to resist is called the temptation. If it is a sudden feeling inside our body, we call it an urge.
If our willpower is low and we cannot fight the urge, we give in to the temptation. But if we want to improve our life, we can try to cut down on a bad habit, which means we do it less.
Right? And if we want to stop a habit completely, and suddenly we give it up cold turkey.
When we are doing a good job following our plan, we are staying on track. If we make a mistake and lose our self-control, we fell off the wagon. But the most important thing is to be disciplined and get back on the wagon the next day.
You summarized that beautifully, Sarah. You used almost every new phrase perfectly. I think our listeners are going to have a much easier time talking about their habits, their goals, and their daily struggles now.
I feel more confident too. Tonight, I will use my willpower. I will hold back from watching short videos. I'm going to stay on track and go to sleep early.
I believe in you, Sarah. Do not give in to the urge to scroll. And to all our wonderful listeners out there, thank you for joining us today on the English Vision podcast. We hope you learned something useful that you can take into your daily English conversations.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment and let us know what temptations you're trying to cut down on this week.
That is a great idea for the comments. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we will see you right here in the next episode. Have a wonderful and disciplined week.